We have put back God's earthly, faithful servant, lifesavers, perfect Samaritan health clinic. And right here, I'm about to show you that we're cutting edge. What is the price to restore mental health to individuals? What price tag will a family put? How big is the industry of these families who have individuals who have mental illness? And you have technology out here. They're therapists. Once again, I'm surrounded by an army full of therapists. And I'm sending this directly to my wife, Miss Laura Graham, Miss Laura Graham's children, my children. Children have been to school for therapy and nursing and all of this and all of that. And there is no institution that you can work for that will pay you what you're worth. There is no institution that you can work for that has the vision to do the work of the Father. And if your work is not in line with, I must be about my Heavenly Father's business, you're wasting your time. So what we have done is we found the things that our people are passionate about, that they already have committed themselves to. And now we're created an entity where they can come and work and do their passion and get paid top dollar and do the work of our Heavenly Father for the least of these, our brethren. So win, 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 win. It's called I.T.B. Break the Cycle and Adonai Community Mission. Once again, celebration of my son, Xavier Leggett. Celebration of my wife, Kanisha Leggett, and her dang near 20 years in the occupational therapy field. Her gift is therapy. I don't know a better therapist in the world than my wife, hands down. I don't know a better therapist. When my life was on the line in 2016, my son came home from Oakwood and nursed me back to health for 2 years. My wife, my son, my children. There are no better therapists. And so as I analyzed the talents and the gifts that God has given us, and I see we all out here working for companies that don't see the true value. Now, Curtis Spiderloak Williams, our brother, Kanisha Leggett, Maurice Webb, Craig Morgan, Xavier Leggett are the executives of I.T.B. Break the Cycle. And this is virtual reality, using virtual reality to help people like my uncle Reginald Leggett, a mental health patient. If my grandmother was alive today, she would be jumping for joy at the prospect of her son Reginald to have access to something like this. And then for her family to be the one bringing it. There's no reason why Reginald Leggett and my brother George Ryland, Katrina Michaels' son, who also turns 50 this year. My other brother, Kasim Roberts. Irene Roberts from Miller Homes Projects, Trenton, New Jersey. Atia Roberts. Kasim Roberts got a daughter It's no reason why my brother, Kasim Roberts, my uncle, Reginald Leggett, my brother, George Ryland, there's no reason why our family shouldn't get behind the movement and invest so that Katrina and David Michaels can benefit from the investment that Almarine Michaels made in Damon Leggett, in Kanisha Leggett, in Xavier Leggett, in Deja Leggett, in Destiny Leggett, and in Damon Leggett. This is a return on investment. This is a return on investment of what Miss Irene Roberts has given to Terry Leggett and Damon Leggett. This is a return on investment. We owe you this. This is a return on investment what Reginald Leggett has given to me and my family. This is I.T.B. Break the Cycle and Evelyn Harris, Adonai Community Mission #1. And if y'all want to know what we will be doing and what services we will be doing as companies, this is what we're doing. We're harnessing technology. And we're not replacing people like all of these other. What we're doing is we're using technology as a tool to improve the lives of people.
Simply standing too close to an edge can create intense fear. Floor 10. This is a virtual reality simulator designed not only to induce a fear of heights, but also to help conquer it.
The view from here is amazing, isn't it?
So I'm now right up at the top of the building and I can see the roof just above me, and it is very high up.
How is your anxiety now?
I still feel okay. Quite high up to be this close to the edge with very little barrier. But okay.
What I'd like you to do is pick 8 apples. To reach them, use the platform. You push the lever forwards and it'll take you out.
So let's give it a go. Okay, I'm moving forward.
Good.
Right, that's 1. I need to get 8, right?
Yeah.
Where shall I put them?
Well, you can throw it.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's fun. This one's quite far away. I've got to lean quite far over to get this one. I don't think I'd normally do this in real life. I'd normally do this in real life.
Virtual reality first made a buzz in the late 80s and early 90s thanks to NASA, universities, and gaming companies.
VR has come a long way since then, including the ways in which it's used. Our Derek James shows us how today's VR is being implemented by a Twin Cities mental health provider to treat fears, phobias, and anxiety.
All right, here goes. Ellie Mental Health in Mendota Heights is using virtual reality to bring the outside world, I'm up very high, into its office. This isn't a video game. I have open area in front of me, and I have railings on the side of me. It's therapy.
And what are you noticing in turn for working with someone who has a fear of flying? We can't really get on a plane with them, right? But what we can do with VR is we can bring a plane into that therapy room.
I asked Austin Jacobson, Ellie's virtual reality therapy co-manager, to demonstrate the software he uses.
I feel a little shaky.
To transport to a situation.
So just like my wife and Miss Laura, over the years, hundreds of students have come and shadowed them. And they've trained hundreds and hundreds of therapists. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of therapists have come to the hospital where they work and followed them around. And they've taken them and they've trained them. And it's no different. This is no different. But the competition in the field that we're going in, there is none. There's no competition. So, it's like any other business. You have to have partners to be able to provide services. So, Orange County reached out to us. Orange County has a crisis with their inmates. After COVID, you had individuals who are locked up on minor drug charges, especially now that they've legalized weed everywhere. So individuals who may have gotten locked up for marijuana charges, they would prefer to release them, let them go to an AA program or an NA program, and get help, go through therapy, do some community service, and then be reunited with their family. But because there's also a housing crisis, an affordable housing crisis, they had Orange County alone has that's the county for Orlando. They have 800 inmates that they could release in that situation. So we have partner organizations. This is a partner organization called S&D. And they are the organization in this video that we're working with. They have a steady stream of these inmates. And we have therapists. We have access to virtual reality. We have homes now. We have a medical clinic. We have a fitness, around the clock fitness and wellness curriculum. We have a financial academy. We have, through I.T.B. Break the Cycle, a partnership with Don and Lois Howard out of St. Petersburg, Florida. And we have a warehouse, a retail operation, ordering truckloads and truckloads of merchandise, electronics, all of that. And currently, Don Howard and Lois Howard and their sons, Barrington and Bradley, have been generating a substantial income while running a brick and mortar location, and on the weekend selling their merchandise at flea markets in St. Petersburg, Clearwater, Florida, Tampa, Florida. But now that we have S&D who have 60 inmates who need gainful employment, now we have a contract with S&D to open up a retail location in Orlando, Florida, on a higher scale than Habitat for Humanity, on a higher scale than the Salvation Army. It's not a thrift store, what Don and Lois do. We could compete with Walmart all day, every day. And so now, because we have all of the components in place, we have a warehouse and e-commerce retail operation, and we have inmates who desire a dignified re-entry into society. I.T.B. Break the Cycle and Adonai Community Mission are here to step into the gap and provide the health and wellness services that Mom Harris specializes in for the past 50 years. The Harris House transitional housing blueprint that Mom Harris has perfected for over 50 years. And the retail operations that I.T.B. Break the Cycle, myself, Craig Morgan, Curtis Spiderlope Williams run Baymac Records and a studio for over 20 plus years. Everybody that's associated in the executive branch of I.T.B. Break the Cycle has over 25 years of executive experience doing what it is that you're about to see on this thing. And so when we started working with S&D, we wanted to reach out to business individuals who could put the components of wealth. If you're going to break the generational curse of poverty, you have to put people on a path to wellness and wealth. And the first thing you have to do is benefits, health insurance, life insurance. The word says, a good man leaveth wealth to his children's children, Proverbs 13:11. How many individuals do you know that have left wealth to their children and their grandchildren? My grandfather left wealth. My grandfather in one generation, my grandfather and grandmother, one generation. One generation. So what happened to my children's and my Uncle Reggie's wealth? Without wellness, the plan for wealth can be fumbled and dropped. My grandfather died, was ate up by cancer that he contracted going to war in the Marines, World War II, Camp Lejeune. In 1985, he dies prematurely, and he had already created and handed down a real estate investment trust that I physically saw my father fumble each and every one of the buildings. So to be obedient to the command in Proverbs 13:11, I had to go back and rebuild the family principles of wealth that I saw my grandfather and grandmother build before my very eyes. And in the same real estate investment trust. At 50 years old, I'm handing to Xavier, Deja, Destiny, and Damon and their children exactly what my grandfather tried to hand to Reggie, me, and Terry to follow the commandment that God gave him in Proverbs 13:11. And I showed that text to my father. He had read the Bible 21 times before. But because in his theology school, they teach that you're supposed to be poor. They teach that Christians are supposed to be poor. That is not, cannot be found in the word anywhere. So when I showed my dad the text, he was like, oh man, that, come on, bro. That's why you would fumble the wealth that your father gave you. Because the principle means nothing to you. God said the truth shall set you free. And God said it is for the purpose of a husband to leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife. My loyalty is not supposed to be to my father. My loyalty is not supposed to be to anybody but the Heavenly Father, carrying out the commandments that he gave me for the family that he gave me. That's truth. This ain't no popularity contest. The word says a man shall leave his mother and father and cleave. That's what Joshua was saying when he got into the Jordan. He said, listen, these children of Israel got a history of fumbling God. He said, listen, man, I'm not with them. As for me and my house, I'll put a separation between the Abraham seed and my house. And as soon as Joshua died, all Abraham's children said, give us a king like all the other nations. And then King Saul led them into idolatry and slavery with the Philistines. And they had none of the wealth that Joshua had when they went into the promised land. And that's where you are right now with this charade